So I forgot about this until Reddit actually put up a post. The post was by Horror Show, The Power of Influence, and it was a video where Roman Sharf he actually gave what the story behind this watch is not always been very clear. But at some point in time, multiple watch dealers was promoting GP. So GP is very similar to AP. As Anthony says, it's even older than AP. And in many aspects, being older than AP would probably make it more valuable, you would think, right? But their promotions and their marketing weren't very good. So Anthony got the watch from his friend. I believe it was a Asian American who may have got the watch from Roman. And he showed it to Roman, as if Roman has never seen this watch before. But I think Roman knew what it was because he had bought a bunch of GPs during a buyout sale, which means he got them at the dirt cheap rate. And the interesting story about that was obviously it would benefit Roman to get GP prices up. So Anthony wore the watch, made a few videos about it. It was a big reveal, right? And there was a lot of mystery about it. And this was before when Anthony was much more popular than he is today. And the price of GPs did go up. Roman actually said that many dealers had called him to ask about, oh, hey, do you have that closeout buyout that you had about GPs? We're interested in buying some. So the price of the GPs, as well as the interest in the GP, which was basically dead inventory, went up, and this benefited Roman greatly. So for the most part, it is something that I believe that Roman is capable of doing, right? He had Anthony market the watch for him. It was a GP watch, and not only did it, there was also the skeleton GP, the ceramic GPs, and I mean, essentially they made watches, I'm not a watch expert. It seemed like they were really, the idea was that you would wear a cheap GP and people would think it's an AD, right? Without looking at it closely. It's kind of a cheap, I don't want to say it's fake because it's not fake, but it's like a cheaper AP that you could wear, and it was becoming stylish, right? Because Anthony was making it so. Now, the reason I'm making this video in addition to the Reddit is because this watch is actually now, there's two of them. Yes, on eBay, there are two of these watches available, both of them pre-owned. I wonder if they're actually two. Was that a listing mistake? Or because I thought this was a piece unique, right? So the whole idea was this is a unique piece. The GP Les Esmeralda turbine piece unique watch. But it says that you can order two of them or make a best offer. Shipping will be $11 on this 641. I mean, it's kind of a weird number, right? $641,946.50. So again, this is the watch that Anthony gave, and we know that the watch was in Roman's hands. As soon as Anthony ran out of money, Roman got the watch, and then Roman gave the watch, or was going to give the watch to Timepiece Trading to see if they could sell the watch, and they couldn't. So then Roman eventually had to take back the watch, right? So this is the Anthony watch. It is, very, very interesting how promoted, and it probably did what it needed to do, which was generate interest for the GP brand. And so no one's going to pay $1 million or $1,005,000 for this watch. But they might say, like if I'm a casual watch, I'm speaking for myself. If an AP is 90, 100 to 120, maybe even more at the time, and you have a GP that does look very similar from a distance, you probably don't know. And that's the whole idea. That's Anthony's entire idea, was that the GPs look very similar to APs, and therefore, people would often mistake him wearing an AP, compliment him on the AP, and that was a GP. As someone who does trademarks or patents and IP, this is actually not a good thing for people to be confusing your product with a upper product, because then when they find out that it's not an AP, that it's a GP, they often think less of the person wearing it because it's a low deceptive, right? and Anthony's all about deceiving people. So this watch is now back to luxury bazaar. My theory is, and I don't, I'm just kind of following the breadcrumbs, is that Roman benefited greatly from Anthony promoting the line, and in particular, what better line to promote than the most expensive watch of its type. And it was a really nice looking watch, very gaudy, but the idea behind, I think he got it from Tom or somebody. I think the guy who he got it from, he actually had owed money to Grand Caliber or something. Something weird happened with Tom. Maybe I don't want to rat on Tom, but I think something really bad happened to him where he owed people money, and maybe that's how Roman got the watch back from Tom. I'm not positive. You never know about the gray watch market. But we do know that Roman has been on a record for saying that he had bought a bunch of GPs, skeletons, ceramics, and so on at closeout, buyout sale prices, which are probably pennies on the dollar, right, from it closing. And then suddenly there is renewed interest in this watch, and guess who has a monopoly on them? It's Roman. So did Roman benefit from Anthony promoting this GP and GPs in general? Absolutely. I remember he gave Liz a GP, right? Ceramic, white ceramic or something like that. And it's like, what is this? So like from my perspective, and I guess the perspective of the majority of the audience members, this was a very interesting exercise in influence, right? If you have a guy and he is posting a ton of stuff, and he's posting the GP, and he's doing a lot of promotion, and people are asking about, yeah, people will be curious, right? And maybe some people will buy, and that's kind of where we are here, is that people will buy what is influencers tell them to buy, especially at that time where it was flexing and especially at those times, it was kind of, the market was, as Marco would say, it goes up every day. If you don't put your deposit now, you might miss out on the opportunity. And the idea of the GP was, oh, look at this watch. It's so undervalued, and it's going to go up in price. And Roman has just a treasure trove of them that he got for pennies. It's not a bad deal, right? I can definitely see that scenario and that type of partnership forming, where Roman also gives some of them to Anthony to sell, and he goes out and tries to sell them. The GPs today, unfortunately, are not very valuable. There was a hype watch. It was not like... So the way I look at GP is you never want the second best, right? If you're going to pay for an AP, pay for AP. A GP, the fact that people think it's an AP is actually kind of damaging to the GP reputation. Should GP spend more money on marketing? Sure. But the influencer marketing that we saw back then is nothing. I mean, that's not relevant today, because I don't think that can exist anymore. But this is the watch that everyone will always, I will always associate this watch with Anthony. It's the watch that he made famous. It's a piece unique. I don't know why there's two versions of it. Maybe it was a missed error on Roman's part. I assume this is a piece unique, right? The $1.5 million watch. And yeah, right now it's back with Roman, where it probably always was with Roman. Again, who would really buy this watch, right? Maybe Tom had the watch, and who knows what happened to the watch, who he got from. But one time they really were trying to make GP happen. They were trying to promote GP. They were talking about how old it was and the craft of the watch and how it was better than AP and all this really good stuff. It was underpriced, right? They kept saying it was a good price, a good investment opportunity. And yet, at the same time, when the guy, I talk about Magic cards, and there's this guy called Alpha Investment all the time. When the guy is pitching you an investment opportunity, and he's the one selling you that opportunity, you have to be very cautious, because that's a very biased individual. And if you just use common sense, if this watch is going to go up, and if this GP ceramic is going to go up from 10,000 to 50,000, why is this guy selling me for 10,000? Right? If there's so much confidence in this brand that it's going to explode, then why is this guy selling the brand as fast as he can? Why are they trying to drop watches on the market like there's no tomorrow? Because there might not be a tomorrow. The watch may not be valuable, and the watch may lose a lot of money. Back to Anthony and kind of Roman, I don't know where where this came from, where they're not actually partners or some type of business relationship. Clearly, there are many videos showing that they are very good friends. Carl Roman. Think about that for a moment in time. When his bank account got frozen, he said Carl Roman, big YouTuber. Like, why would he say that unless he actually believed it? Why would he say that on camera? And then, during editing, Darby and him both probably thought it was funny to put in. So they could have obviously taken it out. Because remember, everything they have is edited footage, which makes it not fake, but not the whole story, if you will. And the whole Carl Roman thing, it kind of never made any sense to me. And the fact that the one watch that Anthony is most known for is now in Roman's possession, it's a little weird. You gotta admit, it's a little weird, right? Maybe Roman, I actually got a text message from Luis today saying the timeline is wrong. Luis, since you watch the videos, I'm happy to have you on if you want to go online and, tell me what your timeline is. Happy to have you here. Back to the whole Carl Roman thing, you wouldn't say that about someone, all right? I mean, okay, so Anthony has one jail phone call. Who do you think he's going to call? He already told us he's going to call. He's going to call Roman. And I guess Roman didn't want to bail him out this time around. But the GP thing was an interesting saga. It was an interesting case study in influencers and pumping and hype, and that stuff wouldn't fly today because money is much tighter today, but that stuff was happening left and right. I mean, they had Liz, for God's sake, they had Liz promote the GP brand. Liz, the lizard, promoting the GP brand. It's you can't make this stuff up, but yet at the same time, it is what it is, right? Again, very interesting watch. Not positive why Roman has it right now, but I do know that Roman tried to give it to TPT to sell, and they basically just said, no, we can't sell it. It's a very gaudy watch. It's a really, some people think it's ugly. I think it's not bad looking, but it is the Anthony watch. Now, why are there two of them? This I don't know. Maybe somebody in comments can let me know. Is it just a listing error? I assume that it's not, because it's a very expensive item, and eBay probably doesn't want that to happen. Anyway, let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Bye, guys.